Hey everybody, thank you for clicking on this video, whether you're new or returning to the channel. To get kind of the preliminary introductions out of the way, for your first time clicking on this video or any video from this channel, my name is Nightmare on Kelp Street. My actual name is Danny, but that's how I go on for YouTube, Twitter. I don't use Twitter that much anymore, but Bluesky, Instagram, I believe. Yeah, so on most of social media, I'm Nightmare on Kelp Street, but I only really post content like this, like on YouTube. So, and I cover newer music. I cover music suggestions from fans. I usually specifically like albums that have come out the same year, the current year at least. So if you're new to the channel, thank you so much. I highly recommend, if you like the video by the end, to like and subscribe and leave a comment about what you're listening to or what you thought about any of the projects I covered in this video, if you've heard them or if you've heard of the artist. I'm kind of jump back into it today because I haven't been back in a while on the videos because I've been starting a new job. I've been looking into getting a house by April, so I've been a little busy. I'm still a little busy through like the break I have to record this video. But I listened to a lot in February. A lot of really good things came out, so I wanted to cover them. And I was like, you know, if I enjoy them and people I talk to in my real life enjoy hearing what I've been listening to and what's going on right now, I figure, you know, I need to keep the audience fed of let you guys know what I've been hearing. Guys, gals, and anyone non-binary or any gender in between. So here we go. I'm gonna quickly kind of power through my favorite listens of February 2025, and then we're gonna go to the 3 short listens I did not like in February. 2 of them, I think none of them I finished, actually. All 3 of them I did not finish because I did not like them off the first like 4 or 5 songs. So my favorite album of the year currently was a listen I listened to on a road trip drive with my wife to Chicago recently. Girl Doll, The Chrysalis. This was a really good, if sad lyrically sometimes, electronic pop, hyper pop, kind of I would consider it like goth rock, like goth pop in the lyrics. It's like very bubblegum in the lyrics of how she's like, oh, I'm sad, but like the beat's like, like it's like very upbeat, very party-esque music. Very much like if you're not toning into what she's saying, you're most of the time just going to be vibing to it, but when you do, it's like a little more somber and sad and down. It reminds me a lot of how some Weeknd songs are, where he's like, it's a pop song, and if you listen to the background, it's fine, but if you tune in, sometimes it gets a lot more darker than you really expect. Specifically to her themes, this album, I'll give a content warning about abuse and suicide and drug addiction. So even with those heavier topics, I really love this album. I'm really excited to listen to it today while I'm at work and kind of going through my shift. But this is easily one of my favorite projects of the year now. It's an incredible album. It's less than 30 minutes long, so it's not going to eat up a lot of your time listening to it. And I like some shorter, punchier albums. I like when albums can be really good under like 30 or 40 minutes. Makes it really easy to revisit. Next is going to be Saya Gray, Saya. This artist I'd never heard of before, but really enjoyed, really loved. Very much kind of a indie, alt pop, and at some points rock type artist. Not much else to say other than that. There's a fusion of different genres in this album, like country, pop, rock, indie. Not like indie as in like acoustic guitar, more like songs formed in a way where I can see people being kind of scared off of this album by how they flow and like how the formation of the songs go. It's a little more abstract. I guess that's a good way to put it. But I like abstract, I like weird, which is why these top 2 picks are some of my favorite albums of the year now. So I highly suggest both of these. One I mentioned before in the past month, Wafia, Promised Land. This one lived up to the hype of it. I really like it. I revisited it a few times now. It does give me just kind of generic pop album vibes sometimes. I'm not in the mood for it, which I have experienced once already. But generally the highlights, like I'll be in the background, ooh, is a great single. That's the only one I can remember currently off the top of my head, but I listened to a lot of albums this month, so it kind of fades through depending on, you know, which songs really stick with me. Next is going to be Fairy Baby, Jabbermouth. This was a really good kind of analog rock album by this really gorgeous girl who sings on the front, like she's like the main woman of the band. It's also a really short album. I think it's under like 25 minutes. I'm pretty sure it's really short. This is a really great, analog rock, kind of like punk rock in some ways, of how like noisy and like buried she gets in the mix, but I really like it. It really fits a vibe of like, you know, the other day I was like playing Minecraft and just like had it on the background. It was just, it's such a beautiful listen. It's such a great vibe about somebody who's like a very kind of peppy, scorned lover, being like, you'll never get the best of me. I will always be happy. I will always make myself happy regardless of what happens to me, regardless of what happens in my love life. And I really like that. It's really cute. It's a very cute album. Next is gonna be Mallrat. Light Hit My Face Like a Straight Right. This one has a mouthful to say as an album, but by the second song you understand why it's named like it is. It's very much an artsy kind of thematic album. It's like pop. It has samples some rap in some moments. It is really good. I think last Mallrat album I didn't like that much. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it was good. It was roughly like, if this one's like an 8 or 9 out of 10 to me, the last one was like a 6 or 7. So it's improvement, which I like to see from artists I'm getting into. I think that one came out in 2022, 2023. I'll probably have the album on screen, the one I'm talking about. But next is going to be Tate McRae, So Close to What. This was just straight through a really decent pop album. Not my favorite of the year so far. I would say after maybe my first listen, I don't know how much I'm rushing back to it. But I would say through most people, if you're into pop, and that's something you like, then you'll probably find at least 4 or 5 songs in this album that you'll like. So I think it's worth a try just for that, of having some highlights. It reminds me of like Ava Max or Dua Lipa in that sense, where it's like both of them have kind of a style that's been going around recently for pop girlies, and she really much is kind of slotting into that style. I know Tate McRae came from, I believe, like TikTok or Instagram. I'm not tapped in enough to know which one, but one of the two. She came from another social media and started making like YouTube videos and music, and kind of taking her music more seriously. And I really like that she did, because she has a really pretty voice. Next of the full album listens I've listened to in February, and the last one of full albums, is going to be Dream Theater, Parasomnia. This was a very like prog rock, prog metal type album. Really super long songs, like up to like 11, 12 minute type songs. But if you know Dream Theater, that's pretty common for them, and it's type where like you throw it on when you want just a LP long listen. You're not really gonna be focused on anything else. You're not doing, you have the time to spare. You're on a good long drive or something, and Dream Theater really comes through with that, like that classic chunky rock sound where I'm like, I don't hear a lot of bands still doing it like this, and I really like that. They kind of bring the energy that I wish Metallica still had. And then next, my favorite of EPs I've heard this month, and one of the only new ones I've heard this month, I'm pretty sure the only new one I've heard this month, honestly, in February, is going to be Paris, Texas. They Left Me With the Sword. This is a very thematic, like, indie rap, kind of punk rap album. It's really themed around like being like a medieval knight type thing. Like it opens with him being like, pick up your swords, men, stuff like that. Like it's like all very like cartoonishly medieval in its like skits and sampling, and like not even sampling, just skits. It has its own like skits to it. But the songs themselves are just like straight rap and punk rap, and some of them are weird, pretty good. Like the ones that stuck in my head recently is Tantrum. Paris, Texas, Tantrum. Specifically because the chorus is like, she got me mad like, huh. She got me mad like, huh. And it's just like little noise fixations like that. Sometimes the songs really catch on to me because I'm like, it's so specific that I don't feel like I can explain to a lot of people. But when I hear a song like that that's so weird and specific, it sticks with me. So I really like this EP just for that. It's only like 5 songs. He just released a new song recently, which makes me think it might be an album soon, which I'm really happy for now because I just got in Paris, Texas last year. So happy to listen to my first full new album drop by him, following them as an artist. I figured I was a duo of people. I forgot that part. And we're gonna get quickly to my least favorites of the month. One I already covered, so I'm not gonna say a lot on. Tyga, Not Safe for Work. I had retried the album after my last video, and I still didn't like it, so it's gonna be in the top here for albums I just cannot get into. I haven't been getting Tyga in years, but I want to go through his like highlight hits soon and just like figure out what I do like, because I want to kind of, I don't want to shoot him down so quick. I want to give him a chance, But this was just too long. It was like over 50 minutes long. And after the first 2 or 3 songs, after Uncle Snoop on the first like song being like, I'm introducing the album, and then I got Tyga, and I was like, oh, one of my favorite You know, it's just downhill from here. Because that was a fun intro, but that was about it. That's what I liked in the album after the third or fourth track. Yeah, it's just very generic R&B rap, very samey, very boring to me. I'm fucking your bitch, I'm taking your shit, stuff like that. Next is gonna be Twisted. Welcome to Your Funeral. I used to be really big into Twisted in high school, although I was a very edgy scene goth kid in high school, so I don't trust past Danny's preferences, and this is one where I was gonna give it a reluctant shot, also did not finish, made it to track like 2, I think. Just never gave it another chance. It's one of those ones when I heard it, I was like, I used to be big in the ICP scene, Insane Clown Posse, and he was a part of that, but it's just the whole gimmick of him, like with the clown makeup and how he raps and his very like gravelly voice was like, he's very much like the white guy who raps about like nasty things, where he's like, I'm fucking on a fat bitch, and I'm like, I don't really need to hear any of this anymore. You know, I'm past that childish phase of music where like something edgy is gonna make me laugh, or you know, like be a funny background listen to me. It's just not worth the listen to finish to me. And then the last, and one of my least favorite albums of the year, probably my least favorite, honestly, is the new Drake and Party Next Door album, Some Sexy Songs for You. There was a track or two on this I heard that I didn't mind as much, but having like 30 seconds to a minute of a song that you don't mind versus a song you actually like is a big difference. And I think everybody recently has been looking at Drake different if you're tapped into music because of what happened with Kendrick in 2024 going into 2025. I mean, Kendrick Lamar, one of the biggest not even say conscious rappers, one of the biggest rappers in the world right now, just played the Super Bowl talking about how much of a fucking pedophile you are, and everybody cheered to it. Everybody heard the song that we all consciously know is like, oh, they're not like us. They're not like us because they're pedophiles and they're awful and they suck. And the Super Bowl went fucking nuts for it. So I can't, you know, I don't think anything Drake puts out at this point is gonna do well. Sales wise and like listening wise, like streaming numbers and like people buying things, yeah, but like people like liking it, like people enjoying it, and like outside of like core fans that really love him, you know, this isn't gonna win anybody over, especially an album that's like over 70 minutes long with some of the weakest songs I've ever heard Drake make. I used to be a big Drake fan in like high school. I kind of cut off being a big fan around like, you know, I'd say roughly 2021, which being 27 might be, you know, a little too late in the game to be still liking Drake, but it's good party music, it's good background music, it's whatever. There's always been lines he's had that always rub me wrong, like this one song he's talking about taking a girl to Cheesecake Factory, and he's like, oh, don't make me drop you back off the hood if you act up, you know, and things like that, where it's like he's always been very just evil to women, and in his songs he really just says things about women in his songs that are just awful sometimes, and that's something I don't really see a lot of people talk about online, because I'm like, well, I understand that I present more masculine most days, but I want to try my best, and I do try my best to stand up for when I hear a lot of music where I'm like, well, I want to cut more music from my life that talk about women or other minorities like this, like, because there's no point in it. There's so much music out there in the world. I sometimes, one kind of want to leave this video off today was, I sometimes view music to me like being really big into comic books. You're never going to read every comic book, but that's okay. You're going to read a lot that you like, and they're going to read a lot that you probably love if you get really deep into it, but you're never going to read all of them. And the same thing with music. You're never going to hear every song. You're never going to hear every album. You're never going to hear every artist. But you're going to find a lot you like in your life. And, you know, what I wanted to leave it today was, in that kind of comparison, I wanted to say that I hope that if you're trying to get into newer music, like I kind of started when I was in high school, then something from this channel helps you kind of spark that and find a genre or album that you love, and help you kind of narrow it down from, you know, feeling either overwhelmed for how much music is out there, or just not having time to research things like I do. So yeah, I hope you're having a great day. I love you, Kelpies. Reminder to like, comment, and subscribe if you like this video. Let me know what you thought about any of these albums or artists that I talked about today. And leave a comment about what's your favorite dessert, if you so feel like it. Hey everybody, doing a little bit of last minute updates to this video. This probably tagged on to the end, kind of edited around, but I have a few more things that came out at the very tail end of February that I wanted to tack onto this video before I upload it, so it might come out a few days later than I expected. I wanted to upload it by the final day of February. It's probably gonna come out like at the beginning of March. So I heard the new Rebecca Black EP album type project, Salvation. Salvation, the lead single, is a really good like anti Christians who hate gays song and music video. It's a really funny, really awesome, sexy, hot, in your face music video. I highly suggest it. It's the title track for the project. And that song, and specifically the one of the other singles, Sugar Water Cyanide, has been stuck in my head. I recommend going and listening to that track and then coming back, like sideboard it and, you know, kind of go listen to it, or listen to it when you finish the video, you know. But the chorus part of it has been stuck in my head for days now. I'm in the back of the club, chewing on the waist like bubble gum. And it's like, it's a type of song that has like multiple choruses in it, because I also think of the part where she's like, black coffee in the morning, there's no one like you. And I'm like, there's parts like that that are really wholesome and sweet and lovely, but it's also like a very much like a Charlie XCX type of party club electronic like weird song that like, it reminds me of a Charlie XCX song like off of Brat, but like it just devolves as it goes on. Like it gets weirder and stranger as it continues, more choppy, more edited, and I really like it. I really like the hyperpop direction that Rebecca Black's been going in her adult career post, like, you know, people know her for Friday, but this is like her coming out and being so open about her queerness and being so blunt about it in her music and in her representation of like her videos is really warming to me. I love it. So we have that. They just came out February 28th. We have a new Girl in Red single, Confessions, that was very somber, very sad, very short. Just a short acoustic song about how she's like, I feel like I'm gonna die soon, which is a very sad pivot to hear from this album that she came out with last year, I'm Doing It Again Baby. That was a very great album, very good poppy, upbeat, like I'm feeling full of myself type album. So it was really kind of just sad and disheartening to hear this from her after all that. But sometimes something just hits you, so I understand, you know, I'm gonna get this. That's probably how she feels, at least right now, or how she felt when she wrote it. Just to get it out, which I know art can be cathartic for a lot of people. It is for me. And then we have the new Kilo Kish single, Reprogram. Really excited about that. Kilo Kish is one of my favorite albums of the past 5 or 6 years with American Girl, so I'm highly expecting great things out of this next album. I'm already love the single, love the video. Very much like a striptease type dance around just an empty chair, just to focus on an empty chair in an office room. And Kilo's not even really dressed sexy for the video. She's like very much like in this just regular office fit, and it starts in a weird way where she like trips and drops all the papers, and then it ends with like her giving the papers back when the song ends from the off-screen man. So I really like the bits of humor, but also artistic style she takes to her songs. The video is really captivating. It reminds me a lot of Childish Gambino's This Is America, with how there's so many things going on in the background, but you're so centered on her that you just miss it. It's just so much movement in every shot. I really like that. And then we have the new Halsey single, Safe Word, which is very much a punk rock, explosive, deep, loud, like sexual song. The video itself is like very like kink forward and sexual and like gritty and like pet play and things like that, where it's like very in your face about it. And it's just very strange to me for her to go with this route, this type of song, after this very sad album she just had in the last year or two. I covered it on my channel, but I like it. It's one of my favorite Halsey songs in a good while. It definitely brought my energy back up from being into her off of that last album, because that last album made me really depressed when I first heard it. Go watch my video, the newest Halsey album, Broke Me, for my further thoughts on that. But yeah, this was very much a nice change in tone compared to that last album. Just strange to me, because it's like, it's so gritty and sexual, and I really wasn't expecting it. I was like, when I dropped it, I was like, whoa, this is very different in tone from what we just got from your music. So I really like that. I really like how diverse Halsey and artists can be, and how they can be through their music and through their art. That's everything. That's everything for February. Some last minute additions. I'm gonna get this edited and posted within the next few days. For my send off, yeah, I hope you're doing well, Kelpies. Love you. Bye.